Hello travelers, Raven here. In today's video I'm going to bring you a character tier list for the version 2.6. This tier list will cover the current strength of all units in Genshin Impact at C0. For now, I'm planning only to make a C01. Leave a comment in this video if you want me to make a C6 tier list as well. So now, let me give you some information on how I decided to rank all these characters. We will have 5 ranks: SS, S, A, B and C. SS being the best ones, S being slightly inferior to the SS ones, A being good, B mediocre, not so great, and C is the garbage tier. Keep in mind that this tier list is only from my perspective, and you do not have to agree with the choices I make. Maybe you don't like that I place a specific character in a lower tier, and from your point of view that character is supposed to be higher. But hey, this is my tier list.
Yes. Oh my god.
In the whole tier list I'm going to assign different roles, such as main DPS/carry, sub DPS, and lastly healing and shielder support. So with all of this information out of the way, let's proceed with the tier list. Let's start with the DPS main carry role first. On the SS rank we have Ganyu, Hu-Tao and Ayaka. Ganyu and Ayaka damage overall is really great, and at C0 they perform really well. They will not require that much investment and they are F2P friendly. Hu-Tao is a solid unit, but she has some problems at C0. She will need her C1 in order to fix her stamina problems. The reason why I decided to place her here in the SS rank is because you can use her animation cancelling mechanic, so you can solve this problem to a degree. Next on the list we have the S ranking. Here we have Yoimiya, Raiden, Ayato, Itto, Xiao and Eula. All of them are really good, especially Raiden, since she can be used in multiple roles. Eula is one of the best physical damage units that is currently in the game. Itto is without a doubt a solid choice when it comes to Geo, but he will need a camp that will allow him to do his things. Xiao is Xiao. If you like jumping attacks, he is your guy. But he is a very selfish DPS and he will require to stay a lot of time on the field. Ayato is really fun to play and can perform great, especially in teaser camp with the right setup. Lastly we have Yoimiya. She can work in multiple camps such as Vape or even Overload, and she can really pack a punch with the right investment and team camps. Next on the list we have the A ranking. Here we have Diluc, Kokomi, Childe, Keqing, Razor, Klee and Yanfei. All of them apart from Kokomi are really solid units, but compared to the ones from the SS and S tier, they are lacking the damage output at C0. As for Kokomi, the reason why I decided to place her here, especially in this specific role as a main DPS/carry, is because of her main role in a teaser camp. She will be the main damage dealer, triggering the reaction herself. Moving on to the B rank we have Fischl, Ningguang, Beidou and Noelle. Fischl and Beidou are great off-field DPS, but as a main DPS role they fall behind due to their element and skills. Ningguang is not a unit that you should invest into if you do not have her at C1 or C2, because that is where her damage potential will come from. And lastly, Noelle at C0, she can be only used as a shield/healer support. She will not perform that well into a main carry role. Next up is the C rank. Here we have Ember, Aloy, Xinyan and Rosaria. For the C rank all these characters can be built to be main DPS, but at C0 I highly do not recommend you to do so, because at the end of the day you will only be spending your resources and you will gain nothing out of it. Moving on to the next role, which is off-field sub DPS. For the SS rank we have Raiden Shogun, Kazuha and Muna. I mean, these three are the best of the best at providing you with all you need. Raiden will provide you huge damage output and a lot of energy restoration for your entire team, like a Duracell battery. Kazuha, on the other hand, is a jack of all trades. Even at C0 he can swallow reaction elements, boosting your damage output even higher. What I like the best about him is that the Vincent Venerer set can work really great with his passive talent, which will give all your party members an elemental damage bonus upon triggering a sword, but he is also great at CCing enemies. As for Muna, she is great, even at C0, due to her elemental burst. Her elemental burst is a nuke that will deal a ton of damage, but that is not the only aspect of her burst that makes her stand apart from others. The other aspect of her burst that I really like is the Omen debuff. Moving on to S tier we have Ganyu, Albedo, Xingqiu, Xiangling and Venti. All of them are really solid choices and are very good at providing damage even when they are not on the field. Xiangling being a beast in Overload or Vape camps. Venti being Venti is a good all-rounder. Ganyu is really great as an off-field sub DPS, especially in a Morgana camp. She's really great at applying the cryo debuff with her burst. Albedo is a good all-rounder, but with the right investment into a Geo camp, he is a really solid unit. Lastly, Xingqiu is great even as C0. He can provide you with some basic healing and also resistance to interruption, but his selling point is his Hydro appliance, which is really good. I decided to place him in the S tier because I'll rank him at C0 and not at C6. If I was going to rank him at C6, he will be without a doubt an SS unit. Let's move on to the A tier. In this tier we have Zhongli, Yae Miko, Fischl, Beidou, Kokomi, Shenhe and Ayato. All of them are really solid units to have, and they can perform really good with the right investment and the right incomes, especially Fischl and Beidou, since they are very versatile. Zhongli is better off as a support, due to his shielding and buffing capabilities. Kokomi is great at maintaining the Hydro element, and she is a very reliable healer to have. Shenhe and Ayato are also good, but the true potential lies in other roles. As for Miko, I don't even know what to say, so I'll move on to the next tier. In the B tier we have Jin, Chongyun, Ningguang, Rosaria and Kaeya. For this tier, the only ones that I highly recommend is Kaeya, Rosaria and Jin, since they are the only ones that will provide you with something in return. Jin is good at CCing the enemies and provides healing and some DPS to your team. Rosaria is decent at applying cryo and also gives you a crit rate buff. And Kaeya is a good all-rounder to have. Moving on to the C tier we have Pharah, Lisa, Amber, GeoMC and Aloy. There is not much to say about them except they kinda suck, so don't waste your resources on them. Next we have the support role, characters that excel at buffing your other units. On the SS rank we have Kazuha and Bennett. These guys are the best due to their benefits that they can provide. Bennett is Bennett, what do you expect? He is great in providing healing and damage increase to your team. Kazuha, I already mentioned him in the off-field tier list, and what can I say, he's great. On the S tier we have Shenhe, Muna, Raiden, Venti and Zhongli. The reason why I place Shenhe here is because she will buff only cryo units with her icy quills. Raiden can buff other members with her elemental skill, increasing their burst damage. Muna once again is great due to her Omen capabilities. Zhongli is really solid, because he will decrease the physical and elemental resistances of your enemies. As for Venti, he is good due to the Vincent Venerer artifact set and his Stormy Eye passive talent. Moving on to the A rank, we have Albedo, Goro, Yunjin and Sucrose. All of them offer some really great benefits, but in some cases, some of these units will require some constellations, especially Sucrose, Goro and Yunjin, so they can better contribute to your team damage. Albedo buffing capabilities are not that great, and he is better used in other roles. On B rank we have Rosaria, Electro MC, Pharah and Lisa. As for the B rank, Rosaria and Pharah can be good, due to them providing damage and crit rate to your team. But in Pharah's case, you'll want to have her at C2, so you won't have to aim all the time. As for Lisa and the MC, they are not that great, and they will not bring much to the table. And lastly, on the C rank, we have once again Xinyan. Her buff is good, but she has some problems. The buff will stay active as long as her shield remains intact. Her shield is not that great in comparison with Zhongli's or even Diona's. That's why I decided to place her on the C tier. The last category on this list is the support, healer / shielder role, characters that excel at healing and shielding. On the SS rank we have Zhongli and Kokomi. Zhongli and Kokomi are the best at what they are doing. You won't go wrong by picking any of them. As for the S rank, we have Bennett, Chi-Chi and Jean. Bennett sure is a top dog, but the problem with him is that he will only heal one active character at a time. As for someone like Chi-Chi and Jean, they can heal all units. But in Chi-Chi's case, she has a long downtime to her elemental skill, and her actual burst cost is 80 energy, which is a lot. As for Jean, she's great, don't get me wrong, but you'll want to have some ER and attack on her so you can increase her healing amount, because if not, she'll have a hard time against corrosion. For the A rank we have Diona, Barbara and Sayu. Diona is a top candidate, but at C0 her healing is not that great. You'll mainly want to use her for her shielding capabilities. As for Barbara and Sayu, they are good to have, but not that great overall. Moving on to the B tier we have Noelle, Thoma and Xingqiu. As for this trio, Xingqiu is not that great at healing and providing support to your units. He's better off as an off-field sub-DPS. Thoma and Noelle shields are not that great, and they can only tank a few hits from bigger enemies. Noelle on the other hand has a really bad downtime to her E, and her healing is not that great compared with other units. Thoma on the other hand would only provide shielding, which is not that great to begin with. Lastly, on the C tier we have once again Xinyan.
And here we go.
As I previously mentioned, her shielding capabilities are kinda meh.
Yeah.
It is not worth investing into her at C0. These are all the characters that I think are good for each role at C0. If you have any questions regarding this tier list, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. If you found this video interesting, drop a like and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.